Hola a todos y bienvenidos a mi canal Total Joy Island or Isla Total Joy. Today I want to talk about a serious topic. It can be vulgar, but I'm gonna be as graceful as I can with it and be as respectful as I can. Intimacy, physical intimacy is not free, especially in the Christian world, but it should never be free in the world. A disclaimer, in this context, I am referring to free as without commitment. I'm not talking about the exchange of monetary funds or transactional relationships. It should not be free, and I'm talking from the perspective of a young woman. A woman should never have to prove her worth to a man by becoming physically intimate with him. We have it kind of backwards in this society where ancient history practices, have kind of been lost, but it is the man's job to prove himself to the woman that he is worthy of her person. And where this is stemming from is I saw a post on Reddit. It was about a young lady who had gotten played. Every getting played story is tragic, and hers was not unlike many others. And she seemed really hurt, and desperate because her post was like 5 scrolls long. And if I were in that situation, I think the thing that would help me most is just understanding how to move forward and how to never, ever make that mistake again. After she finished spilling her heart out, I said, 1, she needs to prepare her heart to move on from this guy. She got played. She needs to prepare herself that, okay, this individual I can no longer entertain. He's wasting my time and taking advantage of my body. Now, she permitted it. However, he's not acting righteously in this situation. So I said she needs to prepare her heart to move on. Second thing she needs to do is to actually move on. Moving on means no contact, no access to her in any space ever again. Third thing is she needs to never have intimacy with a man again until she has a ring on her finger. And I think back in the 30s or 40s, if our great-great-grandmothers or our great-grandmothers could see the way that intimacy is so free around these parts, they would be at you. But essentially, that's the third thing that I told her, is that she needs to make a promise to herself, a vow to herself, that she will not cross that line with another person who has not committed to her. The next thing that I told her was that she needs to find an accountability partner. And I think that is important for so many of us. When I say us, I say young women. And I think, going back to my college rant, that is missing in college, is that you're vulnerable. And as women, as young ladies, we need support. A lot of us need support to help stay strong on certain convictions. That's why back in the day, and I'm talking about the way back in the day, like history class days, that in courtships between a man and a woman, it was the man versus her entire family. Because as women, like, we can be all the way out in Minnesota with our emotions in our mind, but the family helps the woman stay grounded in her convictions and in her mindset. This is my favorite thing to do, in her mindset. And so I think that's just really important. For those that don't know, courtship is different than dating. Like, dating is it is the parent of free sex. It is the parent of no requirement intimacy on behalf of the woman. She loses everything. And so what courtship does is it protects the woman primarily. It also protects the man. How it works is there is 2 parties. So there's a man, and then I say there's her family, but if a family is fractured, there can always be an accountability partner. That is what I recommend. I recommend an accountability partner for both persons, but obviously it's necessary for the woman. It is the woman's place to accept or deny. So the woman still has obviously a voice here. The next thing that is key in a courtship is that courtships have deadlines. They have time limits. So it's not like dating where it's just endless until the man says 7 years later, I think that I like you. Courtships have a time limit. So it's like, okay, first, I might be a little antsy, so let's just do 1 week. And you stay until the end of that 1 week, because that also helps with like just building the character trait of like endurance. But you stay until that 1 week. Just like in marriage, you can't just leave. You have to stick some things through. For example, if you wanted to go after the 1 week ends, so you're like, okay, I like you, let's do 2 weeks this time. You do 2 weeks. Yeah, this is going good. And you check in with your accountability partners. Your accountability partners advise you on your relationship. I wanted to mention one more thing about the importance of advisors and counselors in a courtship. The advisors and counselors are there to see things that a couple may not see in their own relationship. In dating, this isn't really present for the sake of keeping a relationship private. Then let's do a month. So you set the courtship date for a month. If the month you want to renew, and you keep extending it and going until that date. There is no physical intimacy at all during this time. The man during this time is proving himself to the woman and to her family and showing them what he brings to her life, how he can provide for her, and how he can and is ready to be that biblical husband. And during this time, maybe in the later months, you can also begin like premarital counseling, or engagements can occur, things like that. So that's what courtship is, and that's how it differs from dating. Dating is endless. You can do, like, I hear Christian dating, but Christian dating, I think, like, there's Christian dating is not always courtship, because Christian dating can be, like, endless. Like, there's no, like, time. And it's not really setting, like, a marriage date when you begin courting, but it is setting, like, a date for a decision. Whether that's a decision to renew, a decision to end, or a decision to let's get married. At the end of the day, I just want to say, in a marriage relationship, things have been paid for. And what do I mean paid for? Sacrifices have been made. Commitments have been established. Rings have been purchased. Prayer has been held. Documents have been notarized. That's what I mean by paid. And if you think that it is hard for you, or this is a new way of thinking, I think the best way to go is an accountability partner, someone who is already living that life of, no, this is locked down, or an older person who you think can guide you in the right direction, or mentor you, or your parent, or your older sibling. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for watching. I do want to leave you with one verse, and here it is. The blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow to it. If you are laboring too hard to make a relationship work, a friendship work, for someone to stay in your life, it's probably not from God. Because the blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow to it. Thank you. Peace out.